o'clock. Welcome to the Wednesday night service at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Sally Bartholomew, and I am a licensed minister with the Centers for Spiritual Living and your host this evening for the Wednesday night Oasis. As you will discover tonight, Wednesday night Oasis is a place where we come together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. Most Wednesday night services build upon the theme of the previous Sunday, sharing in a satsang style, building off the science of mind principles and practices with an intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and interactive, or as we like to say, rich. Last Sunday, Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman introduced ideas inspired by the talk title of The Power of Possibilities. And tonight, Rev Deb Hammond is returning, and she will continue the exploration of this same topic. At the Centers for Spiritual Living, we have an annual theme, and this year's theme is Living Out Loud. And tonight, we're going to be closing out the monthly theme for April with the power of vulnerability. And next Wednesday, we'll be introducing the theme for May, which is Light Within the Shadows. So, as we gather tonight, we welcome you. Now, early in her ministry with us, Reverend Sunshine Michelle invited us to come to the center well. Come well. So to do so, she shared these 6 C's that I'm going to share with you again this evening. We invite you to come with a heart of love and tenderness, known as compassion. Come ready to exchange openly, communication. Come in harmony and ready to share, camaraderie. Come in partnership and cooperation, collaboration. And come in spiritual awareness and truth, consciousness. So as we move into the program tonight, these 6 C's are the premise of sharing a wonderful evening with you tonight. Welcome. Welcome to anyone who is new, anyone who's never been to our Wednesday night service before or has discovered us on the YouTube Live. Welcome. If you are new to our community, I invite you to navigate yourself to our website, www.oaklandcsl.org. Once you're there, you'll find the I'm New button. You click on that and provide us with your email. And once a week, you'll begin receiving the Village News. It's an email that tells you all the information about what's going on at the center in the coming weeks. So, we're about ready to start the show. Some housekeeping notes. Please be sure to mute your audio during the show. That way the recording is very clean and we can hear our speaker's voice. It's okay if you keep your video on, but keep yourself muted, because if you don't, the tech team in the background will mute you. Stay tuned all the way to the end of service to receive special and important announcements. But first, let me introduce our speaker, and then I'll ask her to open us in prayer. So Rev Deb Hammond, a practitioner, has been licensed with the Centers for Spiritual Living since 2009. She became an ordained interfaith minister through One Spirit Seminary in 2018. She has a passion for supporting others in seeing the best in themselves to assist in transforming their lives. She uses spiritual practices like meditation, affirmative prayer, and visioning, as well as teaching. It is her joy in supporting others and rediscovering their truth as unique expressions of the one, whole, perfect, and amazing exactly as they are. Teaching and coaching and speaking is her calling based on spiritual principles. Rev Deb is a wisdom seeker, a person who answers the call to live a life that continues to awaken her to an inner knowingness that lifts her to a higher level of consciousness. Welcome back, Rev Deb. We're glad you're here, and I invite you to open us up in prayer.
Thank you, Reverend Sally. So if you just allow your eyes to just close and to just be in this right now moment, knowing that there is only the one life, and it is God. It is perfect. It is the life of each and every one of us right here and right now. I bless this time that we have together, knowing that this moment was already created in the mind of God, and that this is an opportunity for us to just open our hearts, allow our ears to hear and our heart to receive that is being said, that Spirit gives to you to receive in this moment, knowing that everything is truly already done. And we've already said yes, because we're all right here, right now. And I'm just grateful for this time together, knowing that it is blessed. Thankful for the hands and the hearts that have made this time possible, knowing that it is good, it is God, and truly all is well. And I just anchor this with, and so it is. Amen. Good evening, everyone. I am so grateful to be back here again as a speaker for this evening's Wednesday Night Oasis. So as you know, this month has been about vulnerability. And on so many different levels, for me, there have been so many opportunities that have shown up to be vulnerable or to experience vulnerable moments and to know how to shift my awareness in a lot of these. One of the things that came to me was what I'm going to share with you shortly is a film project that I did a few years ago for a film festival while I was living in Oakland. And this film was not the original idea that I had in mind. The idea that I had was that I was going to stay behind the scenes, do the directing and shooting and everything else that went along with it. Yeah, but as you know, Spirit doesn't always work that way. When it's time for you to step out, opportunities show up. And that's what happened in this case. So rather than me being behind the scenes of this, Spirit had me to step out in front. And I reluctantly obliged. But what I realized was that this film project that I'm about to show you, it's truly in alignment with the April's theme of vulnerability. So let's take a look, and then we'll come back and have a discussion about what you experienced. So Peter, if you can go ahead and show the film, please.
If ever a change is gonna come, it starts with me. When all of my ducks are in a row, it allows me to see.
There is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life. That is the life of each and every person on this planet. Wow, where do I even begin? What layer do I remove first? For so long, I have been covering my feelings of shame, guilt, doubt, and fear, holding on to the memories of the acts of others involving molestation, rape, and any other trauma that may have happened in my past. I now know that in order to live my best life possible, now was the time to remove the layers. The question is, how do I let go? How else can I remove the layers? I am so ready for my change, and I know that I am not alone. As a spiritual practitioner, I am trained to use prayer to heal my
And
life.
practitioners, what you're practicing is vibrational medicine. Prayer is vibrational medicine.
To stand in the truth of who I am. And prayer works. And along with that, I know that there are other ways of deep healing to happen in my life. I remember my conversation with Sandra and how she had healing work done to help her with her trauma at a young age. How now she can talk about what happened and not have the painful emotions still tied to it.
I was raped when I was 5 years old by a man that lived in our neighborhood. And when I went home to tell my parents, they just said, "You shouldn't have been there."
Then there's Brenda, and she was telling me about how she was angry regarding the racism that was happening in her life.
As a black person, knowing what I know about racism, it just makes me ill.
And how after her session, she didn't feel the anger about what happened. She had a brighter glow to her, and her energy was so much lighter.
I feel lighter. I don't feel the same compulsion kind of feeling.
So, when I went to see this healing practitioner, she had asked me about any past traumas in my life.
Has there been trauma in your life?
There was one there was a rape that had happened. I was 28. That had been the most recent traumatic thing that had happened.
The brain does not know the difference between what has happened and what is happening.
Right.
So whatever the abuse that happened, no matter how long, real or imagined, when you focus on it, it's happening now.
Yeah. I now declare that healing is happening in my life. It's happening in the lives of all people all over the world. I declare that this is the day for a brand new life. This is the day to let go. One thing that I now know is that nothing covered ever gets healed. So it's time to remove the layers, layer by layer or all at one time. The choice is up to me. Although I know that my life is not perfect, I have done the best that I know how. I know that I am ready to let go of the past pains that I have allowed to keep me covered over the years. I am ready to let my light shine. I know that the past experiences have served a purpose in my life. I have learned a lot from my ancestors, and today I choose to stand in a different place where I am ready to live my best life possible. I now choose to break free from the painful thoughts and actions that have been passed down by my ancestors throughout their lives. I choose to tell a new story now. I give thanks that I now start a new journey, a journey to remove those layers that I no longer need to hide behind. I now release my word to the universe, knowing that this day I am healed. This day I remove the layers, allowing the healing to continue. I let go and let God, and so it is.
If ever a change is gonna come, it starts with me. When all of my ducks are in a row, it allows me to see whatever I need is there, just waiting for me. If ever a change is gonna come, It starts with me.
Yes, it starts with me. Any change that happens, it starts with us right here and right now. And that's what that vulnerability is about. So I'm going to open this up now to just to have a discussion, to see your feedback, to see what came up for you. What is it that you may be feeling that you've covered yourself up, not allowed your light to shine? And you feel that this is now the time, or spirit is calling you to step into something. That was my vulnerable moment. Trust me, that was not, again, that was not the first thought that I had. And it took me, I shot that in a weekend. The editing part of it was what took me the longest. And as I edited, put it together to make it 6 minutes, there was a lot of emotion and releasing that was happening. And even as I watch it now, there's still a little twinge of still stuff that's left there. But what I know is that this is the time and this is a safe space to be open. So I ask that you allow yourself to be open. If you want to share what may have come up for you, and what is it that you might be up to that you're feeling vulnerable about, you're feeling covered about.
Well, I just want to start and chime in. Thank you so much, Deb, for sharing that when you showed it to me again. I don't know if I had seen it before. It just touched me so deeply, especially since we were right in the middle of the month of vulnerability, and the message was so deep, and it just was so poignant for our science of mind philosophy. So I just wanted to acknowledge you and acknowledge your willingness to not only listen to spirit, which you always do. I know that about you. Always, always. That's what I love about you. And to, to be, not be, if you heard what she said, she was not intending to be in the starring role. She was going to be in the backdrop, but listen to spirit. That's vulnerability right there in and of itself, let alone to tell the story that she told and how she told it. So it's very, very powerful and something we can use. And just to one moment more, I answered Freya's comment in the chat, but I wanted to say to everybody that we're often struck with a unique time on the calendar where we are in between 2 months. We were just in April and now we're in May. It's May 3rd today, or 4th, or whatever day it is. But we follow Sunday's topic, which was April. So it was vulnerability. And what Deb shared is in both, because it's not only how she allowed her light, she found her light within the shadows through the power of vulnerability and possibilities. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you so much, Deb.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Sunshine Michelle. So is there anyone else that'd like to share or?
Constance has her hand up.
Well, I had a lot of feelings come up, Deb, when I watched that. And in terms of what I'm being called to step out of, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I think I know, but then I sort of say, okay, well, let's see if it aligns with what's showing up in front of me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
And then I have to remember that sometimes that God's timeline and my timeline are not always the same. Very seldom are they the same, actually. But I did want to say one thing because of the content of that, is that I was on a call a month or so ago from CSL. They were talking about trauma informed and teaching, and the person who was talking was someone who was extremely she'd done a lot of her own work. She'd done films, she'd done books, she'd done a lot, you know, with what she'd been given and what had happened to her. And I came away and I realized I was triggered, and it wasn't about what she said, it was about the energy. Because there was an energy that reminded me of when I was in sort of the middle part of my healing. That's sort of it's an energy that's like, I'm just gonna make this happen, you know, this is gonna, I'm gonna change the world, and this is, you know, and that's what really got me. And I noticed that was really different in your video, that you had a very different energy. Your energy was calm, your energy was accepting, it was surrendered. And so one of the things that got me thinking about after this other woman had talked was because I know that when I was doing a lot of justice work around abuse, that was sort of where my energy was, you know, and so what the question that came up for me is, can we really make significant change when we're coming from the same energy that created the situation? And I think that happens a lot when that you know, there's a lot of incredible energy and a lot of incredible work that comes out of healing, and of that energy that comes when you're on your healing journey, and yet it's not it's still a place of fear. I would say the fear is still there, you know, whether it's the fear that I'm never going to get to the end of this journey or whatever it is. And so it really got me thinking about, can we really make significant change when we're coming from that same place? You know, so anyway, that's, but thank you for your video, because it really was a very different energy.
Thank you. And my intention when I was doing this was to come from a place of not beating ourselves up about something that has happened in the past, and is to being gentle with ourselves in this healing process. So thank you for that. Is there anyone else that would like to share or chime in?
I would. Excuse me. Rev Deb, I have a couple of questions and comments. I like the feeling of the statement, prayer as vibrational medicine. I've never heard it expressed that way. And also, there is this film meditation prayer available to be experienced again, and also the healing practitioner that was shown in the film. Is this person available in Oakland? And I wanted to comment because I'm in a Dr. Dan group meeting, and tomorrow, May 4th, is called Missing the Mark. And I read it earlier today, and I totally felt like I'm missing the mark. It was unsettling once I'd read it and thought about it for a while. So I'm just considering this your film and the message as a prayer, a vibrational medicine work. So if you care to comment on any of that, I would appreciate it. And then tomorrow I'll have an opportunity to explore this Dr. Dan reading of Missing the Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Grady. So yes, the film is available. It's on YouTube, and I can, if someone could type in the link, and Reverend Sally just put the link into the chat of where it's located. And the one thing I know with prayer is that because everything is energy. And so as we speak our word, we're putting this vibrational energy out into the world. So as we know with prayers, like we come from this place that it is already done. And so we're speaking energy into that. And so regardless of how intense it may get or how soft it may be when we're doing our prayer, is that there's this energy tone that's behind it that goes out, and it's already creating and agreeing with the intentions that we're setting. So as for the person that was doing the training, I have to see if she's still in Oakland or not, because I'm not sure, but I will check. And Brady, I have your phone number, so I can either send it to Reverend Sally and you all, if anyone is interested, but I have to find out if she's still there, where she is right now. And I'll let you all know. But this opportunity, this film, like I said, this was a download. And at the time when I shared it, this is what Spirit wanted me to put out there. And this is the first time that I've actually shown this film in years. And so this, evidently, I know that there's something that's coming up, but it's an opportunity, again, to be gentle with ourselves, but to also to do the inner work of the healing. And if you notice that in the, that what she had said, there was a statement that she said, the brain doesn't know if it's happening then or if it's happening now. Because whenever we bring these experiences into our right now moment, we're recreating that experience again. And the brain is in that place of, oh, this is happening now. And it triggers something, it could. And it's an opportunity to go into prayer at that time. Grady, when we were in Pratt, you had mentioned, we had talked about, it's like it comes up for us to give it up, that healing. And I always remember that is for us to release. It comes up for us to give it up.
Thank you, Rev Deb. I'm glad it's out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you put it out there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comments.
I see Alice has her hand up. Alice Herndon.
Hi, Reverend Dana. I really appreciated the film and all that you've shared. I think what really touched me was, speaking about all the layers of that may be there that need to be broken through, maybe and maybe not even your experiences, but experiences of your family and friends that really cling to you and affect you positively or negatively. And these would be the negative ones, but there are just so many layers, and that we really do have to be delicate with ourselves and others, and assist them in, or assist ourselves in going through those layers. And so that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And this could be anyone, it's like, and I'm just, I guess that vessel in that moment of sharing this part of my story, but this could happen to anyone. And sometimes people don't have a person to share this with or a way to express it. And one of the things that I've learned is that sometimes when we repress emotions within our bodies, it has to have an escape. It has to go somewhere. And a lot of times what happens is that when we don't release it, it becomes trapped in our bodies. And that's what causes some of the pains and the illnesses and stuff in our bodies, because we're holding on to so much. Even the fear of being successful, stepping out and doing something that Spirit is calling us to do. And this is an opportunity that I've been learning and still learning, that either I'm trusting Spirit when Spirit guides me to do something, or I'm not. And I realize when the not comes in is when I'm in my humanness and thinking, no, I don't want to do this right now. And we have choice. And I also know it's like, okay, spirit comes knocking at your door again. All right, it's time to do this now. And I've come to the point, it's like, okay, what are we doing? And I joke about it at times, but I realize that there is this, when I say yes, it's not always easy, but it's necessary. And I guess for me to show this film right now, it's necessary for me to release this because others may see this and may have the same experience.
Deb, can I ask you how you're feeling having just seen it again, having shown it publicly?
You know what, I watched it earlier today. And just going back, and I just went back through when I shot the video, because I did that on Alameda Beach. I shot all of that in Alameda. And just the whole process of putting it together, it just took me back to that place and that editing place. With most of the trauma that's happened, I've dealt with, I've gotten work around a lot of that. When I was in Prac helped me to release a lot of the trauma that I had experienced. And watching it again, it just reminded me, there were a couple of twinges of places that came up. It's like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. But there's not a whole lot of emotions tied to a lot of the trauma that had happened in the past. So I get to see this in a different light right now. And actually kind of on some aspects of it to be in gratitude that I'm able to talk about it in this moment and to share this, to be vulnerable enough to share this with you all. So thank you for the question.
Reverend Sunshine.
Yeah, I want to speak to the possibility part of the topic, power and possibility, because
Yes.
I believe that as Rev Deb's affirmation went, that I step into power of possibility through vulnerability, or it was something like that. And when we allow ourselves to find our courage and energy and strength through the power in vulnerability, we open up that space for possibility. Otherwise, as I was telling somebody the other day, we swirl in that story. We swirl with it in our bodies, as Deb was saying. We swirl with it in our consciousness, even if it's not at the forefront. Mm-hmm. And it's no place for possibility to get in there. So when we're willing to let it go, and let it come up and let it go and release it, then we open up the door to the infinite possibilities in God.
Yes. Thank you, Reverend Sunshine Michelle. And I did a talk on Sunday at another center. And one of the things that Spirit gave me was that, I don't know how many of you watch basketball or have played basketball, but there's a point like when you're on the court and you pivot, you have an opportunity to choose which way you want to throw the ball. And what came to me was as the same thing with our consciousness. Either there's a place that shows up that I can stay stuck in this fear and not wanting to move forward, or I can pivot my consciousness and trust and know that Spirit is going to guide me in the right direction. So I can shift in that moment and say, oh, well, I can throw this ball to the right and know that if I go down this road, that I will be okay. But there's this point that we have to shift our consciousness. And that's where that being vulnerable, regardless of even if your knees are shaking and knocking, you still move forward. Are there any other questions or comments or anything?
We've got Freya with her hand up now.
Okay.
Oh my. I feel vulnerable raising my hand.
Yay.
Lately I've been asking myself, how can I be more open to even beginning to allow myself to be visible? And because a lot of times opportunities come up and then and I ignore them, or I say, oh no, and sometimes opportunities do not even come up because of my fear. I don't even see the opportunities. And I think I need to just kind of make a commitment to, yes, I want to show up in the world. Oh my. And I've been starting to do that. And what came to me on Sunday as I was this thought: I do not have to be spending energy hiding myself and my faults. I do not have to waste my energy trying to hide my faults. It's like, whoa. Oh my. So yeah, I'm just speaking right now. Is it like a step in the right direction?
That's the
So
first
thank
step.
you. Thank you for
That's the first step right there. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. So, and that's and what Reverend Sally just put in there, fear blocks opportunities. And if we stay stuck behind that fear, we'll never move forward. I had presented I think Reverend Sally had sent a video or photo, and I don't think you may have received it, but 10
I
years
did
ago.
get it. If you want me to show it, I'm happy to show
Yes,
that.
yes, please. If you could show that. I meant to ask earlier.
Yeah, I brought it up thinking, oh, what a fabulous photo. All right, let's see. I think I got it in this one. There you go.
This was an opportunity that I had 10 years ago for my 50th birthday, and I went skydiving. And this was when Spirit gave it to me. I could tell you when I did this, there was really no fear. But I realized that I was in a place when I was on the plane, and I was thinking, I'm standing at the door. And I was like, well, is the plane going to be okay? And what about the chute? And I caught myself in mid-sentence thinking, I'm about to make up something to be afraid of. And I realized in that moment, that is where the fear kicks in for me. It's that place of making up something that may or may not be true. And if it is, then let me still move through this. So the guy that's on my back, he said, when we go out, I'm going to count to 3. And he said, count to 3, we're going to jump. And I said, okay, sure. All I know is that he said, 1, boom, out the door. And I thought for a moment in my head, I said, 3. I had to start thinking because I'm like, let me just space and be free. Because this was that opportunity that allowed me to see how Spirit is truly, how Spirit has my back. That in this place of being free, being open, letting go, and just trusting the universe, Spirit has my back. No matter what it is that I say that I want to step out and do, even if it doesn't work the first time or the second time or the third time, I still make an effort to move forward. And so in that place of letting go and taking that step, we step into a place of total freedom because we're breaking that chain of fear, breaking that chain of vulnerability, and stepping into that possibility of what if the job that I wanted to start, what if I become the best at it? What if the relationship that this person shows up, that this becomes the best person for me? What if when I moved here to Georgia, what if me moving here to Georgia is the best opportunity for me? And it's like, And it's a trust process. And again, we trust spirit within us to know and to guide us in that direction. So that picture was just that place of freedom. He has a camera on the end of his hand. So it looks like there's water, but that's actually the sky that's there. So thank you, Reverend Sally, for showing that. I appreciate it. Is there anything else before we move into closing?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to give Constance.
Yes.
That I just want to say that I came from I had an abuse background, and it happened very young, and some of it happened pre-verbal, which gets very difficult when the healing process, because there's no words to put to it. And so I did a lot of therapy. It was really good therapy. It brought me a long way. And then I did healing work with an energy healer, and that brought me a long way. But what really made the difference for me was when I worked with a practitioner. And because I was still, I realize now that I spent most of my life apologizing for being on the earth, for taking up space. Which is one of the reasons that at 77, I don't have the money to retire, because I didn't think I deserved it. But it was working with a practitioner, and I don't remember the words, but I remember the feeling the day that I was in a session, and it was almost like, you see science fiction movies where the time space continuum shifts. That happened in that room.
Yes.
And all of a sudden I could know that I was one with all the people who abused me, and that there was no separation. And I don't think I ever would have gotten there had it not been for this philosophy and for my practitioner. And I still have trouble letting people in. It's still scary for me. And it just keeps getting better. I'm much more gentle with myself, and I allow it to happen at the rate it's going to happen. And I don't beat myself up in the same way I used to. But, I just want to say how important this philosophy is. And at the same time, I think we're so used to seeing the best in people and the God in people that sometimes we miss the signs and the symptoms that someone's actually in trauma. And so we're not able to actually maybe do more than what we could do. What the prayer and the knowing that they are God is really important, but sometimes people need some practical stuff too.
Yes. Yes, we do. Not to do a spiritual bypass over what people are feeling.
Yeah.
So yes. Thank you, Constance, for sharing that. Someone else had their hand up. I'm not sure.
Lita's hand is up. Lita. You're muted, Lita.
Is that okay now?
Yes.
I'm sorry I missed the presentation. Something was going on with my Zoom. It was updating and I couldn't get in. So I missed the presentation. So I just have a comment relative to fear. And it's nice to see you again, Reverend Deb.
That's good to see you again, Miss Lita. Thank you.
Relative to fear, many years ago, I went on a spiritual journey, and we did a lot of different things. And we did a lot of exercises to overcome fear. And one of the things was we were in a group, and in this particular room, we made two lines across from each other. And we were in front of, let's see, Well, all I can remember was there was some stairs and there was a wall and there was a high, it wasn't a shelf, but we had to climb kind of high to reach where we were supposed to reach. And we were supposed to fall backwards and these two lines were supposed to catch us. Well, that was the scariest thing for a lot of us. And I thought, I can't do this. And they said, yes, you can do it. And it took a few minutes before I mustered up enough courage to fall backwards and to trust this group of people to catch me. It was very scary. So I closed my eyes and I fell backwards and they caught me. And it was really quite an experience. And believe it or not, I went back for a second time to do it again. And so I overcame that fear, but it was pretty traumatic and for many of us. So I just want to say I really had to overcome the fear of allowing a group of people to catch me as I fell backwards, because it was about trust, and well, it really wasn't too trusting, but I did it. And so I overcame that fear, and it's something I would never want to do again. But at the time, it was many years ago, but it was a spiritual journey I was on. So I'm glad that I did it. I can say that I did it, and it helped me to overcome some other fears. Not as traumatic as that, but I just wanted to mention that since you were all talking about overcoming fear and trauma and so forth. So I'm complete.
Thank you, Ms. Lita. Was there anyone else?
Miss Lita, Sally, Reverend Sally put the link to the YouTube that Rev Deb videoed and showed to us in the chat. So if you can click it before we go off of this so that you can see it later.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Rev Sally. Thank you.
So is there anyone else? Step out of your vulnerability. You know, there's this famous question: what would you do if you knew that you could not fail? What would you step out and do? So this is the time. Now is the moment to step into who you are. Step into that true essence. And sometimes we need a support system. That's when you get a practitioner, a prayer partner, a close friend, someone that will support you in that next step. There is possibility in being vulnerable. We make friends with vulnerability and allow it to move us forward. So if there's nothing else, I want to take this time. Any hands, any other hands? So thank you all again for allowing me to be here with you all tonight as a speaker, not just as a listener tonight, but as a speaker tonight. And I am grateful for this opportunity, that for you all to open your hearts and your souls and to be in this space right now. So I am complete. Thank you. And Reverend Sally, it's all yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Rev Deb. What a wonderful and vulnerable discussion we have had this evening. I want everyone to give some love to Rev Deb for her talk this evening. Let her know that we love her. You can wiggle your fingers, you can use the heart, you can use the clapping of your hands. Thank you so much. So we will go into our announcements, and then after the announcements, Rev Deb, I will ask you to pray us out, but let's go through the announcements for the week first. All right, so as we come on to the slides here. I'll get the chat window out of my way. So this Friday is Cinco de Mayo, which originally commemorated Mexico's victory in a battle with France. And yet now it is associated in the United States with the celebration of Mexican American culture. I think we talked about the fact we're going to celebrate the good. So that's what we're doing. May is also Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. It's a celebration of Asians and Pacific Islanders in the United States. Next Sunday, May 7th, Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman begins the theme for May, which is light within the shadow. She'll be speaking on the inner and the outer spectrum. Meditation on Sunday begins at 10 a.m. and the service begins at 10:30 a.m. Next Wednesday, May 10th, practitioner Jessica Chris will be joining us to follow up from Sunday and continue on that discussion of inner and outer spectrum. Jessica has been a practitioner for 9 years and currently serves at CSL Santa Cruz. Meditation on Zoom begins at 6:30 and the service begins at 7 p.m. Next, be sure to sign up for the listening circle coming this Sunday, May 7th, after service at 12:45 p.m. And if you're going to be at the center for the listening circle, please sign up so that you can have your box lunch ready for you. You don't have to leave the grounds. You can stay there and eat your lunch before it. And we need to have you sign up if you want the lunch and so we can know you're there. This will be a hybrid event, so there will be a Zoom link as well. On Sunday also, CALM, Compassionate Attention to Loss Ministry, will be meeting beginning at 1 p.m. on Zoom. The link to the Zoom is under the groups page and their page on the website. All right, the education calendar for spring is now available. We have 1 certified class, a workshop, and 2 study groups. So the first study group, which starts this Friday, is exploring Aramaic teachings of Jesus. And I'll be facilitating this study group. So I welcome you to join us. Come check it out. You need to sign up in the classes page so that you can get the link to this activity. We'll be meeting on Mondays and Fridays, starting this Friday, from 3 to 5 p.m. on Zoom. A love offering is appreciated, and the sign up, once you sign up, you'll get the Zoom link. The next study group is Living the Science of Mind book study with Reverend Ikea Param and congregant Tom Rose. That starts on May 20th. They'll be diving into the writings of Ernest Holmes on 6 Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Zoom. And again, a love offering is appreciated. The certificated class that's being taught is the 5 Gifts for an Abundant Life, and Reverend Jerry Carter will begin teaching this class on Thursday, May 26th from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the class ends July 6th. The cost for this certificated class is $199 before May 19th. So sign up if you want the discount before May 19th. It'll be $225 afterwards. And this will be a hybrid class. So there'll be people in the social hall as well as people on Zoom. So for more information and the registration links, they're all on all of the upcoming classes, can be located on our website and also in the Village News. Now, make sure that you get your copy of the Science of Mind magazine for May. Why, you might ask? Well, because not only did Reverend Sunshine Michelle write the weekly talk topics that many of the CSLs use, she has an article, Light Within the Shadows, in the magazine. So get your issue at the bookstore before they sell out. And speaking about the bookstore, The bookstore always has fabulous sales. And for May, the books for the study groups, the ones that we just talked about, and the classes are all 30% off. And that's not all. All children's books and jewelry are also 30% off. Time to go shopping. So, as always, for information on all that's going on at the Oakland Center, please visit our website, sign up for the weekly newsletter. You can do that under the I'm New icon. And remember, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook for special updates and content that you'll only find by liking and subscribing to us to OCSL there. So please like us and subscribe to OCSL today. So that's it for our announcements. And what I would like to do now is go ahead into our giving time. And we have our giving affirmation. And I know that Paul is really good at introducing our giving time. And part of what he introduces is the fact that Reverend E taught him a phrase, I love money and money loves me. So that just came to my mind. I thought I'd share it tonight. But the affirmation that we have is, this gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and it blesses creation. So there are 5 ways to give. You can use the donate icon. You can share your wealth with credit card, by mail, by Zelle, by text, and also by the offering basket at Sunday service. So next, what I'd like to do is say thank you. Thank you for everyone who came and made this a very special, very open and vulnerable evening tonight. I want to thank our speaker, Rev Deb. Come back anytime. We love to listen to you and have you share with us. I want to say thank you to the tech team, to Peter Gum for doing our PowerPoint and doing the film, and for Alice Herndon for doing the spotlighting, and for Constance and Reverend Sunshine Michelle for supporting us in the background, giving us everything that we need to make this evening possible. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us this evening. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Rev Deb, to close us out in prayer.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing time that we have had here tonight. Giving thanks for everything that has unfolded, all the people, all the hearts that have opened to receive the message that was presented, to receive the shares that have been presented in this time. Knowing that everything that has been received, that we hold it in our hearts. We bless each and every person that has shared, everyone that may have shared or had that thought, everyone that's in the space of that fear of stepping into that next opportunity, giving thanks for them, knowing that right where they are, God is right there in the midst, holding you up, holding your back, knowing that you are truly supported. Take that step, take that leap of faith, and know that you will be caught. So I'm just giving thanks for this time that we have had here together, giving thanks for the next time and the next time and the next time, blessing each one of you as you go about your way, knowing that it is truly blessed and knowing that this is God's day, God's moment, as each one of us right now. And I'm so grateful and I give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
So it is. Amen.
And so it is. Thank you.